Hi everybody, my name is Mrs. Beach. I'm the Youth First Social Worker at West Elementary, but today I'm here to talk to all of you. We are going to talk about Why Try. Why Try is a group that we do starting in kindergarten going all the way up to 8th grade. Why Try focuses on resiliency, growth mindset, decision making, and goal making. So some really important things. We are going to go through each lesson together. During the lessons, I would really like to encourage you to pause the video at any time to have conversations with your child or as a family about some of the questions that I may ask. Also, in some of the videos, we will do activities together as I would do them in a group setting. But for some of them, the activities will be linked so that you and your family can do them on your own time. Thank you. Enjoy. Hi guys, it's Mrs. Beach, and we are here today with our second lesson of Why Try. Today's lesson is called Tearing Off Your Labels. So what is a label exactly? That's actually our first vocab word today. A label is something that we just use to identify the things around us. So we see them a lot on foods, or when we go to stores, what aisle we're in, or even the name of a store. That's a label. The second word today is, well, it's two words actually. It's real me. The real me is when I'm being my best self, when I'm being true to myself, when I'm not letting other people's judgments dictate what I'm going to do with my life or the decisions that I make. Sometimes it's really hard to be the real me. The third word today is strengths. Strengths are just the things that you feel like you're the best at. What are the things that you feel like you're really, really good at? The best thing about strengths, guys, is that everybody has different strengths. There are no two people that are exactly the same and have all the same strengths. And that's a really good thing. That's why we work better when we work in teams and we collaborate with people. The next word is judgmental. And I wish I could say that I was never judgmental, but I bet all of us are judgmental sometimes. And what that means, guys, is that we pick opinions, or we have opinions about people or things without maybe knowing the real them. And our last word today is differences. And differences are those things that make us unique, that set us apart from other people. Sometimes differences are things that we argue about, like we might have different opinions, or sometimes when someone is very different from us, we have a hard time accepting them. And that is part of what we're going to talk about today, is figuring out how to be the real you and what we can do whenever we have differences or we feel like we're too different from other people. The first thing that we're going to do, guys, though, is I'm going to have you take a look at something. What is this? Well, when you look at it, what does that label tell you? It's a can of mandarin oranges, right? And how do you know that? How do I know what's in this can? Because it has a label, right? Kind of what we're talking about. This label tells me it is mandarin oranges. So then I believe that it is mandarin oranges. But what if it's not? What if I reach in here and I pull out candy? That's not mandarin oranges. That's not what's supposed to be in here. So what do you think that tells us? I think it tells us that sometimes labels aren't always right. And we're going to get into that a little bit more. Sometimes labels aren't right. Like when we had our can of mandarin oranges, but really it was full of my kids' Easter candy. Do you guys think that we ever put labels on people? We know that labels belong on things. We already talked about that, right? We know we put it on food. We have store names. I know that when I walk through a door, that's a door because that's what we've labeled it. But do we ever put labels on people? I want you guys to pause the video for a second and talk about that with your family. So what did you decide? I think that we do put labels on people. And actually, everyone has a label, and that's your name, right? Like, I introduced myself as Mrs. Beach. You know who I am because I told you that label. I'm also a school social worker. That is a label that I have that I actually worked really, really hard to earn. So take a second and think about some of just your general labels. Your name, what you are, how you fit into your family, because all of those things are labels. Okay, so we all know our general labels now, right? So we know that I'm Mrs. Beach, I'm a school social worker, I'm also a mom and a wife. All of these things are my labels. And you guys have talked about where your labels fit in your family too. But sometimes we have labels that aren't so great, right? We put labels on people all of the time. Some of them are really good, like you might be the smart kid or the funny kid, or you might be the super athletic kid. All of those are labels, and sometimes we really like the labels that we get. And that's great when that happens. But sometimes, guys, we put labels on people that aren't so great and that maybe make that person feel bad. So for example, maybe we have a kid in our class that gets in trouble all the time. So we label them the bad kid. We talk about, oh, they just get in trouble, they don't follow the rules, they always get sent to the office. Well, when we put that label on them, they kind of start to believe that that's who they are. And before we get further into that, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of a story that actually comes in our Why Try book. So this isn't a story that's true to me. This is a story that was provided to me. And the story goes like this. When I was in high school for April Fool's Day, a group of my friends and I decided to play a joke on one of our friends. And we got so many people involved, even some teachers were involved. And it was a super simple joke. All we did is every time we saw this friend, we said, "You don't look so good. Are you feeling okay?" And everybody got in on this. So first thing in the morning when somebody would say, "You don't look so good. Are you sure you're feeling okay?" He was like, "Yeah, I feel great. I'm fine." But as this went on and we got further into the day and teachers and other kids kept asking him this, by midday he was like, "I don't think I feel so good. I think I'm getting sick." And by the end of the day, he believed that he was sick to the point that he called his mom and he went home from school early sick. Well, one of my friends called him after school and was like, "Hey, you weren't really sick. We were playing, this was an April Fool's joke. Everybody was saying that, are you sure you're okay? You don't look like you feel good. That was just a joke, man." But he believed so much that he looked like he felt sick that he genuinely thought he didn't feel good at that point. He never admitted that he wasn't really sick. So the point to that, guys, is that sometimes we put labels on people and we use it so often that they really start to believe that that's who they are, or that's how they feel. So in this situation with this story, where we kept saying to the friend, "Are you sure that you feel okay?" That was said to that kid so many times that he believed he didn't feel good. It really made him not feel good. So let's think about some other labels that maybe we put on people. And if we say it so much, do they start to believe that? Take a second, guys, and think about it with your family. Talk about some labels that you feel like maybe you have that you don't really like, that don't make you feel good. Okay, so did you guys talk about it? Does everybody have some kind of label that maybe isn't their favorite? Well, I have really good news for you. You're not stuck with that label. You can change your labels. And it's super important that we know that, because sometimes we get stuck in a place. People kind of put us in a box, but we don't belong in a box. We can be anything. We can do anything we want if we work hard enough. The hard thing about labels, they don't change overnight. You do have to work hard. If I have the label as the class clown, like the kid that doesn't take anything seriously, me being serious in class one day is not going to change that label. I'm going to have to work really hard to know when is it okay to be funny and goof off with my friends, and when do I need to sit down and listen. And sometimes that's hard, and we're not going to be perfect. We're going to make mistakes sometimes, and that's okay, because remember yesterday we talked about when I make mistakes, that's how I learn. That's how I can get better and know to change things. And the same thing goes with our labels, guys. If we're wanting to change our label and we're wanting people to view us differently, we're going to make mistakes when we're trying to change that. But if we work really hard, that's something that we really can do. I hope that you guys enjoyed this lesson. This was lesson 2 of Why Try, tearing off your labels. If you'd like to do some extra activities with this, they'll be linked below. Thanks!
I'm on the reality ride. When I'm gonna crash, I look inside myself on the street and I know